You've got questions, we've got answers.
And I think that makes your pathway to university a lot easier.
The brain,
especially the first year if you pick the right subjects in year 11 and 12.
Information.
Here, and those signals run down through the spine.
Here in our studio, we'll be bringing you the answer to these questions and more. Join us for InfoMate. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another episode of InfoMate. The topic for today was suggested to us by Maulana Mubarak Nazir Saab. It is such an encompassing topic stemming from the revelation handed to the promised Messiah and Mahdi, Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. I shall cause thy message to reach the corners of the earth. To truly understand this prophetic statement, I think you have to look back to when it was revealed the promised Messiah was barely known in his hometown of Qadian, and to have it predicted that the message of Islam, Ahmadiyyat, would reach the corners of the earth is a most powerful statement indeed. No man, no human, on their own could make such a prediction. We can see an embodiment of this statement in real-life terms. The message of the promised Messiah has spread to over 200 countries, and now the Ahmadiyya Muslim community now has numbers in the tens of millions in the course of only 100 years, which for any religion is a short span of time. Not to mention that we were the first Muslim community in the world to have a dedicated 24-hour satellite channel conceived under the guidance of Khalifatul Masih IV, MTA. To help enlighten us on the importance of spreading the message of Islam, we are joined here today by our respected guest, Maulana Mubarak Nazir Saab, Missionary in Charge, Canada. Assalamu alaikum, and thank you very much for joining us in today's program.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
So we spoke the other day, and you mentioned a statement that was very close to your heart, and that was, I shall cause thy message to reach the corners of the earth. Now, I just wanted to talk about that. That's such a grandiose statement. It's so all-encompassing, such a big statement, just a few words. What does it mean for you?
Look, I have been to Qadian, and I have seen that tiny hamlet where Hazrat Masih Maud spoke at the top of his voice that God has informed me that my message would reach the corners of the earth. People did not even know where Qadian was and where Gurdaspur was. People were laughing and joking. This man who is unknown even in Batala, unknown in Gurdaspur, unknown in Amritsar, and he talks that his message will reach the corners of the earth. So I have seen that place, and by the grace of Allah, I have been in Africa, in West Africa, for a little more than a quarter century.
Wow.
For about 27 years. And I have crossed the Sahara Desert with my father on trucks where there was no roofs, and the trucks, there were no roads, going with a compass and with barrels of petrol, and you would go for days upon days and never meet any human being.
Wow.
Taking about 3 months to reach from Qadian to Sierra Leone. So on the way we saw different miracles, and I have had the opportunity of going to many parts of the world, and I have seen with my own eyes, because the seeing is believing. Laysal khabru kal muayanati. News is something else, and you see it physically. Now I knew that there's Ahmadiyyat, of course, has reached Australia, but seeing the Minaratul Masih as we approach the mission house, from a seeing the replica, the true replica of the Minaratul Masih, virtually sent a shudder in my spine.
Wow.
Oh my Allah, that message has reached the corners of the earth. This is one corner of the earth.
It is.
And so I was amazed that look at the glory of that revelation. A lonely person, unknown, made that claim. The people laughed and joked. And look at how it has now permeated. Look at now how it has gone to over 200 countries. And they tried to stop that message. the government in Pakistan tried to stop that message. The message of Ahmadiyyat, in Rabwa, how many people, 1,000, 2,000 people used to listen to Hazur's Friday sermons, and this went against their feelings. And look at the way of Allah Ta'ala. وَمَكَرُوا وَمَكَرَ اللَّهِ وَاللَّهُ خَيْرُ الْمَاكِرِينَ. They make a plan, Allah Ta'ala also makes a plan. This is how the migration took place. And he went to England, and you see the MTA now going into the homes. Even the non-Ahmadis, thousands of them listen to the MTA.
Yeah.
So it's amazing, it's mind-boggling, and it adds to our belief that this is a divine mission and it's bound to succeed.
It is. So even over the short space of just over 100 years, we've now seen the membership of our Jamaat swell over into the tens of millions, mashallah. So to spread that message, it's been different forms of tabligh in the end that have caused that method, don't you think?
You see, the most important thing for a message to permeate and for a message to be digested by other people, we require people who show by their example.
Yes.
There's the prophecy in the Holy Quran that people will join in large armies. يَدْخُلُونَ فِي دِينِ اللَّهِ أَفْوَاجًا. But there must be people ready to receive them.
Of course.
That is why we are holding these jalsa and all these things, so that the level of our spiritual training is such that we are able to accommodate when those armies come and join Ahmadiyyat. So it's a struggle, and we are so happy that our youngsters, and I have seen little boys where I have been accommodated. I see from the window those little boys working, run here and there. Sometimes at 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock I see people working from my window. And so this gives us great courage, and it gives us great inspiration. And I feel so lucky that I have been able to come to Australia. They told me it was a long flight and this and that. I mean, I'm almost 10,000 miles away from Toronto. 10,000 miles is quite a distance.
It is.
But by the grace of Allah, to come over here and see our members and our friends, and they meet as if we are brothers, and as if they are my own children, and we have that love that is there in the hearts of people. That is really very encouraging, and we are highly gifted people because we have a Khalifa.
Yeah, more blessed.
Who is a divine guide. Look at the population of these Muslim countries. Look at the power they have. They are sitting on mountains of wealth.
Yeah.
But since they are not united,
no spiritual guidance.
Look at them, 72 sects different. And they said this Ahmadiyyat is out of Islam.
Yeah.
They have all joined together, and the Holy Prophet said 72 will be wrong and one will be right. And now the 72 take pride in saying that we all Muslims declare that this one sect is out of the pale of Islam. It's quite clear. And for those who are in the habit of contemplating, they will know that which that sect is.
So in your time with the Jamaat, how have you seen the Bleak change over the years?
Well, the Bleak, when I was in Africa, because my father was also a missionary.
Yes.
And there was one missionary whose name was Abdul Rahim Nayyar, one of the pioneer missionaries. His name was Abdul Rahim Nayyar, and he was the first missionary who came to West Africa. And he made a sort of a guidance for missionaries, and it was known as the 7 P's of Nayyar, or the 13 P's of Nazir Ahmad Ali was the name of my father. So words starting with P. So he used to say that a missionary, 1 P is pious. He must be pious. If he's not pious, he does not make any headway.
No.
He must be punctual. P. He must take care of his prayers. He must be patient. Opposition comes. people abuse, people do all sorts of things. A missionary should be resilient. He should be always, perseverance. He should never lose hope in that. And working in Africa, one of the P's was that he should take care of his passport. Another P used to be that he should take care of his purse.
Yeah. Africa.
That's why I also have my purse.
Yeah.
So this is how missionaries used to travel on foot.
Yeah.
And they used to go from door to door, village to village, sometimes walking on foot on dusty roads. Sometimes they sleep under trees. This is how the early missionaries formed those communities. And now, as I was saying in one of my speeches also, that now I have traveled by a non-stop flight of about 17 hours. And now I came back and I said I was tired. And those people who slept under the tree when it was drizzling and their clothes were wet, they had that perseverance. So we hope that spirit of sacrifice is by the grace of Allah being revived in our young missionaries, and we have high hope that inshallah ta'ala, because Hazrat Masih Maud has prophesied that every nation will drink of this fountain.
Yeah.
That every nation will drink. So if it's not happening now, we must think about ourselves, because the prophecy is there.
Yeah.
If it does not happen in our time, God will bring another nation.
Yeah.
This has to be true. Which prophecy of Hazrat Masih Maud was not fulfilled that we should be worried whether this will be fulfilled or not?
Yeah.
So it's left to youngsters like you and like your team and like the other youngsters, that they should take up this fight. If we have tried our best and we are very anxious and we want to hand over the baton to the next generation, provided they are ready to handle the baton, provided the takeover is right. Yeah. People lose the relay race because the handing over of the baton was not done properly.
Yeah.
Sometimes the baton falls on the ground. America lost a relay race in the World Olympics because the baton was not transferred properly. So we are worried that the baton, as we are running our last lap, we are concerned that the baton should be handled by youngsters like you properly, so that they may be able to do something better and may be able to clock a better time.
Inshallah. So, in this day, we've seen, like in the mid-90s, we've seen the advent of the MTA International Satellite Channel that's helped spreading the word. And more recently, in the last few years, the advent of social media to help spread the word. So to give you an example, this year's UK Jalsa 2015, the news of Jalsa reached over 12 million people, which I think is an amazing figure to get the word to that many people. And do you think over the next few years to come that we'll continue to spread the word even more coming up?
You see, the trouble with the media is that they want something exciting.
Yeah.
Now, we had our Jalsa, everything went peaceful and nothing happened, there was no fight. This is not newsworthy. I mean, for them it's not newsworthy. Sometimes they say that if a dog bites a man, it's not newsworthy.
No.
Dogs, stray dogs are always there and they bite people. So if a dog bites a man, it's not newsworthy. But if a man bites a dog, it becomes newsworthy.
Yeah.
We don't bite dogs,
No.
So definitely sometimes we are not newsworthy. And they think that something good is done, so they don't care about it. And we don't do anything bad. So that's why we are asking our youngsters to go into the field of journalism. Let them become journalists. Let them go into that field as well. Because we want our youngsters, our young blood, that they should go into all fields. Look at a small country. They have countless, they have many Nobel laureates. Look at Israel.
Yep.
How many Nobel laureates? You talk about penicillin, you talk about this, all Yahudis, all Jews. Our Muslims also should take up this fight, this spiritual fight, and also do things that they will be counted that the world will have, the journalists and the media will have no other option but to count them.
To listen.
So this is our jihad, This is the noble jihad which we fight, so that we present the message. I was thinking, I shall call thy message. What message is it? That Allah Ta'ala will. It is the message of love. It is the message of peace. It is the message of reconciliation. That is our message. The message of being good to humanity, being good to your neighbor. The message of being good as a husband. That is our message. The message of giving your blood for the people who are dying. That is our message. So our message is not only to spread. We are not so much interested in the numerical number. We are interested in the quality of our Ahmadis, so that the quality increases. That is the message which we are spreading. That the message of compassion, the message of truthfulness, the message of piety. That is the message which we are trying to present to the world, and that is the message which Allah Ta'ala says this message would reach the corners of the earth. So it's a challenge for me, and if I have not succeeded, I have full hope that youngsters like the youngsters who are now listening, they will take up this fight. If we were not able to win that war, or we were martyrs, if it is the will of Allah, then at least these youngsters should take up our fight. That the message to reach humanity. Look at what they portray as the Holy Prophet, as if God forbid he was, a harsh person.
Yeah.
Look at the message that they show to Islam, as if Islam is a religion of terrorists and hijackers and all that, murderers. Look at these people committing these atrocities in the name of Islam, in the name of God. So you and I are the soldiers who will try to fight, so that this wrong notion, this spot, this black spot on the fair face of Islam, that is erased.
Yes.
So that is the struggle we are fighting, and we hope that a time would come. A time is coming, as you can see now. It's quite different.
It is.
That hundreds of thousands of people are now listening, because they see another man and somebody else has claimed to be the Khalifa, and we have another Khilafat here. They compare that Khalifa, that Khilafat, who are murderers, who slaughter people.
Yeah.
And you see this Khilafat. For the last 100 and something years, how many of our members have been slaughtered and killed? How many mosques have been burnt? Have we made any reaction? We don't do that. That's why Jesus Christ said that if somebody slaps you on the right cheek, you offer the left one. So that's what they do. This is our way of way of redress, our way of fighting back. This is how we don't do that. We pray for them. That's why Hazrat Khalifatul Masih says that गालियां सुन के दुआ दो, पाके दुख आराम दो, किब्र की हालत जो देखो तुम दिखाओ इनकसार. That they abuse you, you pray for them. They try to give you discomfort, you try to give them some comfort. You pray for them. Once somebody, Hazrat Masih Maud, somebody came and abused him and was hired by people to stand near his house and abuse. He abused the promised Messiah for the whole night. In the morning, Hazrat Masih Maud said, his voice has gone down a bit, so please go and give him a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, so that he's able, his throat, he's able to shout as much as he can. So this is our modus operandis. This is, we are, by the grace of Allah, unstoppable. This is our sweet revenge. They kill one doctor, we produce hundreds of doctors. So this is the struggle that is going on. Sometime on the surface you see it, sometime in the background you see. This is how we are preparing our youngsters, that they should confront and be able to show by their good actions that this is the way to fight.
Excellent. So the prophetic statement, I shall cause thy message to be spread to the corners of the earth. Now, what corners and small areas and remote hamlets have you seen that message been spread to?
Well, you know, I have gone, as I said, I have gone to many Latin American countries. I have gone to a country called Ecuador, which is right on the equator.
Yes.
And we have our missionaries who learn the language. There are many missionaries over there under the directions of Hazur, because, you know, the wisdom of Khalifatul Masih, that is very, very far-reaching. That a lot of, you know, hundreds of millions of people are there in Latin America. And Hazrat Masih Maud was given the title of Yaksuru Salim. He would break the cross. He would break the arguments of the cross. And in Latin America, their Christianity is, as far as Europe is concerned, there are no more true Muslim Christians.
Yeah.
The real Christianity is in Latin America. The real Christianity is in Guatemala. The real Christianity, the real head is in Guatemala, in Guyana, in Suriname, in Jamaica, and all these places. There the real Christianity is. So we are trying to get our missionaries over there so that they make a breakthrough. I have gone to Alaska, near Alaska. I have gone to a place in Canada where there is in 12 months, there are 6 months where it is permanent light, and 6 months is permanent darkness.
Wow.
Sometime at 12 o'clock in the night, you see the sun at midday. So we have gone there, we are trying to give the message. And today Amir Sahib was saying in the Jalsa that we are given the task of giving the message at least to 10% of the population in Australia. So we hope that we will, this is a mode of tabligh, that our youngsters will take up this and try to present. Look, we are not lasta alaykum bi musatir. We are not, you know, trying to force things into people's throat. We present the message and then it's left to them. Because we don't want that on the day of judgment the people should say that we never heard about it. The ball should be in their court, not in our court. We have delivered the message nicely. We have shown what the message is. If they do not accept it, that is their business. At least I have done my job. I'll go to my grave calm. I tried. Somebody should come up and say that, well, Ahmadiyyat was true. Had I known, I would. Then what am I going to answer? So I think our work is that we should convey the message in a very docile, in a very nice way, in a very humble way. Not by saying that you are all going to hell and you, as if we have got a monopoly of paradise.
Yeah.
So by showing kindness, look at how the Islam is, that says that all prophets are from God. You don't believe, I mean, a Christian can still be very, very nice and very polite to Ahmadis, but he does not have to believe in Muhammad Rasulullah. But I am forced. I cannot be a Muslim if I don't believe in Jesus Christ as the Prophet of God. I can't be a Muslim if I don't believe in David or Moses or all the prophets, hundreds of thousands of prophets.
Oh.
So it's a religion where it will become acceptable. The only thing is that the other Muslims are fighting against us. And we spend half our time, whenever I go to conferences, we spend about half of our time just, and on the back foot. Australia is very good cricketers, and you go on the back foot instead of attacking, trying to defend Islam. Instead of showing the true face of Islam, we try to defend what all these mullahs are doing, and that is half our time is spent, and we have little time to explain the true teachings of Islam.
Yeah. So all these young kids who are growing up these days, the Atfal that we saw working around in the Jalsas and the Khudam that are growing up, now what message, the message that we're trying to spread, the message that you mentioned of forgiveness and compassion and love, how can we teach them, or how can they better themselves to understand the message?
You see, Hazrat Masih Maud has said that we should not be nagging and we should not bother the children too much. We should offer prayers for them, because otherwise it's not in our capacity that a child should be this. There's no compulsion in religion. So Hazrat Masih Maud has also said that I just show them the little things and tell them what is right, and then leave the rest. And I offer prayers for them. Because you know, when there's a flower, it's a bud. It's a bud. It has not opened. And in a bud, if you try to open the bud, there's nothing. Allow time so that the bud opens and the flower, the red rose, emerges, which the scent goes all over. But if you try to force it when it was in the bud stage, you will have nothing but filth. So one must never be discouraged. Our youngsters, God, inshallah ta'ala, have got great potential. And I was listening to the number of girls who received awards for having stood in, because of their academic achievements. And I saw the boys who got that academic achievement. So there is a very great potential in our youth. And we hope that the most important thing is that the MTA should be watched. If the MTA is watched, and Hazur's sermons, which are translated into many languages, if we are able to listen to them, to act upon them, if we are able to listen to many of the speeches, the commentary of the Holy Quran, now you can sit down in your home and become a very great scholar if you listen to the MTA. There are a variety of programs on religion and other things. So you could sit in the homes and you could gain a lot of knowledge. So it's our youngsters who should be told very nicely, very kindly. Sometimes youngsters get offended. Sometimes the problem is that there is a generation gap. These youngsters now, I thought I was educated, but I do not know how even to operate my cell phone properly. And these youngsters, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they are able to do all sorts of things. So the gap is increasing. So the best thing is that our elders should also get some knowledge so that they are able to be and give them prime time to the youngsters, sit with them. The youngsters should not be afraid that now our father has come and we should all keep quiet or leave the house or go to our corners because the father has come. The father should be like a figure. Children should await his arrival. That when he comes, he has other jokes. There is an environment of, nice environment of joy and happiness. It should be as if a piece of paradise has descended from the heavens. If that is there, then these youngsters can be tutored properly.
Excellent. Jazakallah Rabbi Sahab, thank you very much for your time and appreciate you coming in to speak with us. Jazakallah.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank all our Australian hosts. They have been extremely kind, and Hazrat Masih Maud has, his Jamaat is such that we came here and we thought we were strangers, and now we feel as if these children, and we are all my own children and my own grandchildren, and we feel totally at home. Many times I feel as if I'm in Toronto. I wake up and I said, I'm in Toronto. And then I see that, no, I'm in Australia, in Sydney. So thank you very much. And I would like to thank your team. May Allah Ta'ala richly bless you. And may Allah Ta'ala reward you abundantly. May Allah Ta'ala grant you knowledge. May Allah Ta'ala grant you understanding so that you can share that knowledge with the others.
Ameen. We have seen the Ahmadiyyat Jamaat spread from remote Qadian to over 200 countries now by the grace of God, and had seen the membership of our Jamaat swell into the tens of millions in just over 100 years. I hope that we have been able to enlighten you on the statement given to the promised Messiah, I shall cause thy message to reach the corners of the earth, and to encompass its greater meaning. As our respected guest has kindly explained, it is fulfilled in every form of tabligh and guided by God to allow this Jamaat to prosper such as it has in such a short time. Thanks very much for watching, and we look forward to bringing you another episode of InfoMate from MTA International Australia Studios. Jazakumullah and Khudafiz.